Hi guys, Rick on the channel again. Yeah, I saw on the thumbs up that you guys want me to talk about things here in China, for example. Which shall I talk about first, the hospital or the traffic? Well, let me do the traffic. As a foreigner, it is not really that difficult to get a driver's license, as long as you get your visa. I think minimum of 6 months. Of course, you need your own driver's license. It has to be translated by notary in China into Chinese, of course. And yeah, at some point you go to the police station, the traffic, but you need to have actually a test only for the theoretical part, and it's about you got 100 questions and 90 of them you have to succeed. You can't make 10 mistakes. Here you can buy online, like for 50 yuan. You can buy those questions, and it says actually like the questions goes usually A, B, C, and D, and you have to pick one. So they say the answer. So if you have a good memory, you can memorize those questions. It's about 900 questions or 1,000. So you need to have a good memory. But imagine this: you go into an area. But first you have to check for your physical body, if your ears are okay, your eyes and stuff. But imagine this one: an average American 2-car garage with 8 people in it, dressed up like they're nurses or doctors or whatever they are. But inside, it's just chaos. Everybody starts yelling and screaming. It just looks like if you're on the market. I mean, the New York Stock Exchange might be even more quiet than this one. So you have some simple tests like how the E is pointing upwards, downwards, left or right, those kind of things. And somebody behind you is making a sound on your left or right with a metal hammer on some piece of whatever. So you have to say it comes from the left on the right. Meanwhile, everybody's yelling and talking and screaming. However, that is easy. I mean, unless you are a corpse, you will pass that stuff. Then you make an appointment. You have to go to the traffic police to do that, and it costs you 50 yuan. But here's the good part: you can go the next day. So I had between 11 and 1 o'clock, and like I said, you have to see. It is like a couple of car garages, if I may look at like this. So you are actually in Disney. You're going from left to right, until you shovel all the way to the front. So in my case, the first time it was like I estimated 200 people, and it took some time before you actually go to the desk. And they have 200 desks, all with a computer, a number on it, and you have one of those kind of a vest, like the fluorescent type of vest. So they give you a number off the table. Even if you don't speak Chinese, no worries. By your passport, they understand he's not speaking Chinese. So they tap on the window in front of them like this is your table number, and get your ass inside. So you have about, I estimated also 200, and you have 45 minutes to answer those 100 questions. So you have to go through all these people looking this way. They're not looking at you. They're also on the monitor. And like I said, you have to find your table, sit down, start the computer, and it shows up in English. So, like I said, 45 minutes. When you're done, even if you do it in 20 minutes, if you're smart, or 30 minutes, whoever, you just stand up quietly and you leave. The computer says at the same moment if you have passed, yes or no. Here's the good part: if you didn't pass, you can get your ass back in line and do it again. In my case, I didn't pass, just a little short. So I just get back. I didn't have to wait that long because I was the only one, I guess. And I was back on the table. So when you pass the exam, they print out some paper with your score. And with this score, you go to the police station and you get your driver's license. The same moment. Yeah, of course you have to wait, but those are the things. So I like that part. In the Netherlands, it takes a long time before you can actually go get your theoretical exam. In my time, that was somewhere in the early 90s, I have to wait 3 months before I was able to go in. If you fail, you have to wait another 3 months. You cannot walk around and do it again. So for some people, it takes about a year or longer before you get really your theoretical part. And then it is valid for 3 years. Meanwhile, you also have to take your driving's the practical part. So you have to try to plan this really tight. If your theoretical part expires because you are not fit enough to drive, because it takes sometimes 30 lessons of an hour, which is also very expensive, then you have to start the whole process of theoretical part again. So some people takes 2 to 3 years before they got the driver's license, even if they speed up. So that's the good part in China. A little negativity, the driver's license here look like if you are from Africa. I mean, come on people, those credit card things what you have in many countries, the Chinese people with the technology can do that too, no? I mean, in Europe they start talking about digital on your phone, that you have your driver's license on your phone. If you don't want that, they can still make those credit card type of yeah, I got it right here by the way, but if I touch it I will probably move this whole thing. Yeah, so this is the driver's license. Yeah, so that is something what you have to consider. Anyway, oh, by the way, on the back it shows which driver's license category you have, but it is like, you see, you cannot scratch nothing. Anyway, so that was the good part of the whole thing. That whole physical examination, that was actually funny. It was also like Africa. But for the rest it is okay. I do have to notice that the Chinese people, they don't care about traffic laws whatsoever. I mean, for me they are like from the Hamas or the Hezbollah. They just drive and nobody cares. They park the cars even on the highway. They drop the motorcycles and they're gonna buy some fruit. They just cut you off in traffic. Like if they don't care about the value of the car, you know what I mean? And people on the crosswalk, we call it barcodes, you just cut them like in front of you and from the back. Even if the law says you have to wait, they don't do that. They just are aiming for you to run you over. So that is something that the Chinese people have to do. They cause us their own traffic jams because they prefer to ruin the car just to let you in. We call it the zipper techniques, one after the other one, and that goes smoothly. Here it is like me, myself and I in traffic. We don't care. So that is why the Chinese people are always standing still in traffic, because your other neighbor in front of you or behind you have the same mind as you are. So that is why you are stuck in traffic, because you do the same. If you all would be a little bit more kind in traffic, your ass is at home way before. But until you guys doesn't change anything, you gotta be stuck in traffic. Or you have to run like hell if you cross the barcode, you know what I'm saying? So that's the good part of the theoretical part and getting your driver's license. That is pretty easy. In my country, I told you it is not that easy, but it is a very crowded country, so probably that is why. The next video, people, I will talk about the hospital, and trust me, there's a lot of changes needs to be done there. Until then,